It's been a fucking week, dude.
Buddy. So sorry.
I haven't gotten a full night's sleep since I've been back from California.
Holy shit, and I know you were not sleeping good with that. No.
My body is angry.
Honestly, I'm ready for that energy for this interview, this review. I don't want to be alone.
Oh boy.
Honestly, you may be. Sorry.
All right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire?
Correct.
Yeah, God damn it.
I can't wait for someone to tell me what the Empire is in this.
I just love that, like, they needed you to understand that Godzilla and King Kong were in this movie, but they're not really verses, so they're like, I don't know, man, just put an X in there. Like, I don't know. Cross.
Oh, that's the hot new way to denote crossovers.
Synergy.
I've noticed.
Joining me tonight, first up from Manhattan, New York City, please welcome John Schnorrs to the show.
Hey.
Next up tonight from Indiana, please welcome Casey.
Hello.
And lastly, from the Bay Area of San Francisco, please welcome Rachel to the show.
Hey, IRL friends.
That's right. Since the last time you heard from us, we've all met in real life.
Mm-hmm.
We had some nice overshares.
Yes.
Well, Rachel and I did anyway. John doesn't understand emotional intimacy. It's
Oh,
fine.
stop it.
But we are gonna chat about that horror on weekend. We saw a bunch of we met a bunch of listeners and patrons that we've never met. We're gonna talk all about all of that after we talk about some hot lizard on monkey action. So let's do it. Let's take a quick break and talk about Godzilla X Kong.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. From the prime time. Main feature.
Can I tell you, John, my absolute favorite thing about Godzilla in these movies?
Well, it's not the junk in the trunk because
Unfortunately not, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
No, it's that, like, after he does literally anything, he needs to take a little nappy. You just gotta have a little lie down, you know? I have never related to a character in a movie more than, like, Godzilla just plopping into the Coliseum because he just did some stuff and he needs a break.
So that is Casey's better on this stuff than I am for sure, but that's canon. It's
The
just not
nappiness
usually.
I love it.
It's
I
like
love
he
it
usually
even
goes
more.
back into the ocean, and
Yeah, he usually swims off into the sunset,
I
and then
like
he
the
wakes up the next movie.
I like the dramaticness of the napping in this series. Like, he's got to just be out front about it and be like, yo.
He had like 4 naps.
they made some choices about the
It's the-
direction they wanted to go with all of the characters in this movie, and
It's
that
the
was
best.
his.
Anyway.
I also wanted to sleep through all of the human scenes. So, yes, I also felt represented.
Wake
by
me up when
Godzilla.
monsters
God,
are
Rachel,
happening.
you're coming so hard for this movie, and I'm a little nervous.
You're going to be fine. It'll be fine.
All right.
I
John,
have good
please
things
bring
to say.
us the word of the day.
Eric, today's word is hominal.
Is that
Homina,
Yish?
homina, homina.
Homina. Yeah. Hominal.
Take a schwitz.
Hominal. Hominal. Of relating to or constituted by humans as a species. That's hominal.
Gotcha. Hominid.
Yes.
It's the origin.
Perhaps anti-hominal is also a word for Rachel. I don't know. Like we can research that one.
Excuse
Well,
me, sir?
That's like a word you might describe the characters in this film.
Okay.
Specifically. Well, in any event,
Thought you were
hominal.
coming for my literal humanity. I was like,
No,
damn,
no.
John. I
No.
thought we had
I
gotten somewhere.
I celebrate your humanity. Please.
I thought we were real life friends now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Come on. We got a lot of animals that we are anthropomorphizing in this series, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So with their naps and so forth.
Ugh, I love a good nap. I never get to
Mhm.
take naps, unfortunately. It's not really in the cards for me.
Well, look, if you don't have a job, you can kind of take a nap whenever you want.
Or
I
if
don't
you're
want
a
to. I don't
remote
want to upset
worker.
you.
Sounds great.
Yeah. There you go. Remote working.
John, tell me about Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire
Yes. So this is the
of
fifth.
robo-handed giant monkeys.
This is the fifth of the Warner Brothers sort of
Wow. Okay, so there
rebooted.
was Skung Island,
No. So in order of release, it's Godzilla.
Godzilla,
Then I think Skull Island.
Skung
Then
Island.
King of the Monsters. Although King of the Monsters might have come before Skull Island. I'm not like looking at this right now.
Wasn't Godzilla X Kong before King of the Monsters?
No.
Versus?
King of the
Oh,
Monsters is like the second Godzilla because there's no King Kong in it. And then Skull Island
Oh,
either
that was
comes
that.
between
Okay.
those two or immediately preceding Godzilla versus Kong.
Gotcha.
And then so Godzilla versus Kong most immediately precedes this movie.
Oh Lord, I
Really?
forgot this was the fifth
I could
movie.
have sworn. I could have sworn Monsters was the last one.
No.
Are you sure?
Godzilla
Okay.
versus Kong came out during the pandemic. It was like 2021.
No, I
Yeah.
think
Then
John's
I have
right.
no concept of time. So tell me about this one, John.
Well, Godzilla versus Kong is where they stared at each other through the Earth's core.
That's the only thing I remember, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that was not the most recent one.
That's it. Yeah.
Was it? Or wasn't it?
Go look it up. Somebody look this up while I'm talking. But yes, I would say I'm at 99%. And largely it's because, and I was telling you guys this over text, I took my son to see this movie. He had not seen any of the previous movies. So I was like, I need to find a YouTube
This was
video
real
that is like
gross.
I'm not
explainer.
disputing your order. I was just
No.
surprised because I'm
John.
like, time has lost all meaning.
No,
I-
exactly. John, how did your son feel about all the monster goo in this movie?
He was pretty grossed out.
It was very gooey, like more than I remembered them being.
It's like the first scene of the movie too. You get Kong like ripping
He
a like
he
dog
drenches
thing
himself
Right.
in the blood.
Yeah. And then he's like licking it out of it a little bit. It's maybe that part comes.
Were you regretting your decisions during that scene?
No.
No. Okay.
No. He loved the movie. Just to be, look, we got to come back to this at the end because I
Give me
could
the-
do
give
a
me the
whole.
plot.
I can do a whole bit. Okay, so this comes pretty closely behind the. So Godzilla versus Kong ends. They've they were battling each other, but then it turned out that their real enemy was man and the Mecha Godzilla that the man
Always.
had created. And so then they teamed up to fight the Mecha Godzilla. That movie ends with Kong being transported back to Hollow Earth to like live
Mhm.
permanently, and Godzilla disappearing into whatever the like
Nap
wherever he
time.
goes. Yeah, like but underwater nap time because they like don't know where he is. But so this movie opens. You've got Kong sort of like he's like lonely, disaffected Kong a little bit, living in Hollow Earth. He's like hunting
He's
and
looking for other apes.
using very advanced traps. I would say for a simian.
Yeah, this was like a Friday the 13th remake situation. with the traps.
he takes a shower.
He does.
He has a shower.
Multiple times he washes himself off when he's got the yuckies.
He's fastidious, one might say. But so he lives in the Hollow Earth. You have Rebecca Hall's character, whose name I just need to get all the names up while I was not looking at it. But Rebecca Hall is back here. Dr. Eileen Andrews. She's like the main human character here. She works for Monarch. I think her title is like head of Kong research or something like that. She has the adopted daughter who this I did not like 100% know before coming into the movie, but
This movie asks you to remember a lot.
well,
from
so
the
this
other-
is where like I had watched this like primer video on YouTube that was like 15 minutes long, and it teed up a lot of this stuff. So like the daughter that she adopted was from Skull Island and was the last survivor of a tribe that had lived on Skull Island.
Yeah, because there were people. 'Cause they were like natives that were living with John C. Reilly.
The Iwe or the Iwi, the Iwi. It's IWE, and they pronounce it Iwi, I believe, in the movie. She's the last survivor. In the previous film, she like forms this bond with Kong. She doesn't speak.
That I kind of remembered. Yeah.
I guess she's deaf. I think that was in the first one, but that's like whether or not she can hear it. Actually, I went the whole movie not realizing whether she could hear or not. She's signing with her mom, but she's also signing with Kong, and it's otherwise. So, what happens? Godzilla starts to wake up.
What happens?
What happens? Godzilla wakes up. Godzilla starts like acting a little crazy, and that is then making the Monarch people nervous.
We've
They-
all been in that place, right? When you wake up from a nap, John,
It's true.
Yeah.
you're
It's true.
disoriented, you're confused, you don't understand what's happening.
Monarch has established a base in Hollow Earth. That base picks up a weird signal that is basically forming like random. It's like 3 little like triangles
Peaks.
in like a sine wave. Eileen Andrews is convinced that this is like a message. So she then enlists the conspiracy theorist guy from the last movie who has like the podcast.
I could not have been more vaguely aware of that guy from the last.
He's
oh,
like one of the
he's
main
like a
characters in the last
podcaster.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just wasn't tracking for me.
He then says, "Oh, like look, this looks like this other thing," and convinces her that they need to go to Hollow Earth. She decides on that team she needs this conspiracy theorist podcaster and her daughter. She's like, I'm taking this like 10-year-old to the Hollow Earth with me. They have like one armed dude who's like part of the Monarch military, and then what's the guy's name from The Guest?
Dan Stevens.
Dan Stevens, who is reprising a role Trapper from the last film.
Was he in the
That
last
dude, I did not.
Yeah.
I thought he was new. Did
I mean,
not.
No,
know him at
he.
all.
I'm like 90%.
Are you
sure
blending
he's
him
in this.
with the Skarsgård character? Because there was a Skarsgård.
Maybe,
Yeah, different
maybe.
blonde hunk.
But I thought
No, wasn't it a Hiddleston?
no. He's
No.
there's Skarsgård is like
There's a
the
Skarsgård.
love interest.
There's a Hiddleston in Kong
Hiddleston
Island.
was in Skunk Island.
You know what? I take it back. You're right. He is not in it. Wow, that's so wild. I was like positive Trapper was in the previous movie. Okay, so new character Trapper, who we all are just supposed to understand is like awesome at treating. What are they called? The giant things. What is
Monkey fangs.
no no? But he's like a
Oh.
veterinarian for all of
Do they
the
call him
Kaiju.
kaiju. Yes.
Yeah.
Do
Or
they
what,
call
you
him
know.
that? I don't know.
There's like
Yeah.
another word I'm forgetting. What does Muto stand for? That's another one, Casey.
That's more from the show, isn't it?
Well,
No,
I
it's in
I
the
think it
first
pre-existed
movie because
the
they
show.
didn't have rights to like.
Yeah.
Some that's why they're fighting Mutos instead of any of the other kaiju.
Okay. In any event, they all go down to Hollow Earth. We're now at the beginning of the plot. There is a. This is the craziest part. I'm going to try not to. You know what? I'm not going to editorialize. We'll come back to the editorializing. They discover that not only is there a deeper part of Hollow Earth, there's a Hollow Earth within the Hollow Earth where this like ancient King Kong sized gorilla tribe is living. They have a king named Scar who wants to get back to the top of the planet, but he's been like trapped here and has
By
been like being
Godzilla, we learn later in the movie.
correct. And the Eway who live in Hollow Earth are the ones sending the distress signal, which was, by the way, these 3 random ass triangles, and they were transmitting it to like who the fuck?
What
knows?
if he just wrote in English?
Yeah, they don't talk. They don't talk. So we can get to
Sure
that.
don't.
But no, they definitely don't. And so they go down and they discover all this, and that sets up this ultimate battle. And Kong has to go
And then, spoiler alert,
reunite with Godzilla. They
fucking
exit up,
Mothra.
and there's Mothra. There's a Mothra situation.
Do we know?
I don't know.
Is Mothra canonically a boy or a gal, or is it?
It's definitely
Not
feminine.
distinct.
She's called the Queen of the Monsters.
She's always been feminine.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Just
She's so
curious.
fancy.
As a merch owner, you should know that.
That's why I'm trying to learn,
You
John.
should be.
You own the shirt, man.
I like Mothra's energy.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it because of her really long nap?
Yeah.
Only shows up at the very last possible minute whenever
The
he's about to
eternal sleep.
blow up.
Hey,
Hey, do you guys need something? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is that an Irish hello? Just...
The reverse Irish goodbye. Casey, what do you think of this?
So I've been a fan of these all along, more because it's fun kaiju ride than anything, than the really in-depth story. But so I had low expectations for this because we're getting pretty deep into the franchise now. This is like Schnur said, this is the fifth movie, right? So that's quite a bit. I had concerns about because the trailer focused heavily on the Robo Hand, and I had big concerns about that. So getting into the movie, it's about what I expected as far as these movies to be at this time. But I can tell you the human parts throughout this, the dialogue, the story, and stuff was terrible. And it is like surface deep at most. There is no depth. There is no building going on with these characters or any of the situations they're in. They're just kind of running around and excited until they get to a chance to cut back to the kaijus. Now, the kaiju stuff in this movie, I thought was pretty great. I really liked the beginning part with grumpy old Kong exploring his land and stuff. I kind of liked the story elements they built with finding the other, Kongs and stuff. We got some other kaijus in this one, and there were some pretty fun fight scenes. And so that's really kind of what I wanted out of this movie, and I got it. But that I honestly think they could have made a bold move here, and done this movie without any humans, and just concentrated on the stuff with Kong and Godzilla and done it that way, and I think it would have worked.
It's an interesting dichotomy. We're going to talk a lot tonight about, I'm sure, about Minus Zero, but like that's a film like told entirely from the point of view of humans, and then Godzilla is like this entity that comes in, right? Whereas what they get by adding Kong, I'm not saying they do this well or it's a good thing, I'm just pointing it out. What they get by adding Kong is essentially like a real main plot thread that puts you in the point of view of the monsters, essentially. Like,
Yeah.
it's sort
Well,
of,
Kong is not a monster at this point. Like, he is just
he's
objectively
a
a
giant
good guy.
ape, John.
Sure, but like he wants nothing more than to help humans.
But he's not
like,
human.
That is like his
he's
ultimate.
not human. But that's my point. Is specifically by adding King Kong, because he's a monkey, it allows them, like, that's sort of what makes these so different. Is like, I think that's what their thought was in adding King Kong to Godzilla stuff. Is like, because he's a monkey, we can make it human-esque.
No, that's yes, that's definitely true.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
Rachel,
he's hominal, you might say.
hominidal.
Yeah.
Hominish.
Hominish.
Yeah, these movies are so wild to me. Like, I find myself repeatedly the entire runtime just marvel. I want BGH business cop Shinars to get his hands on one of these contracts, because I do not understand like the casting of these and how they don't pull in like action actors. They get these like character actors to come in and do these films, and it's so strange to see like Bryan Cranston, Rebecca Hall, Dan Stevens delivering the most asinine dialogue I've ever heard
Rebecca
in my
Hall
life.
is like a story. She's such a good actress, and the
Incredible.
watching her say shit in this movie is insane. You feel insane.
Who else could deliver the 5-minute monologue that she has to
She's
deliver
acting
that
the hell out of
explains
all
the
of it.
entire movie?
Yeah.
To her
just
credit.
so bizarre that they're like, yes, I want to sign on the dotted line. Like, what do those contracts look like? Okay, but that's
all right. Whatever.
neither
We can
here
go
Maybe
to
she
this
always
later
wanted to
if you
work
want,
with a
but-
giant CGI monkey. You don't know.
you know what? You're right. You got me.
Fuck it.
You know what she likes? She likes money, and like this
Yeah,
is like,
that's what I'm
probably
saying.
the biggest
I wanna know
paycheck she's ever
what's-
gotten.
I want to see the contract, sir.
Well,
That's
I
what I
mean-
said.
I don't have access, but
Okay.
yeah.
I'm going to say bad things about this movie, so I'm going to start by saying positive things. At one point, Kong uses a baby ape to beat up other apes, and it's awesome.
That was the best.
Yes.
Those
yes.
are the moments where this
Yes.
movie shines. Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Like there's a
And
camp. There's a camp to this film that I enjoyed.
Yes. I feel like if we excised all of the human elements, or this took place entirely in the Hollow Earth, I would have a very different opinion of this movie.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there are humans, and it takes place partially on our Earth, so I have complaints instead.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Can I say
to follow...
the other moment that's like that I think is just really funny and perfect is King Kong after he knocks Godzilla out and he's trying to drag him by his tail back to Hollow Earth because they need his help or whatever. Because like that, Godzilla in these movies is basically like a petulant teenager, is the only way I
Yeah.
can describe it, and it's kind of a vibe. I'm into it.
Yeah, it's giving like the glasses fight from They Live a little bit. When he's
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
That was-
100%
I
accurate.
laughed out loud. That was a really funny moment. when
Godzilla's
dragging him.
fresh out of bubblegum in that moment. So, okay. I think the problem is you cannot follow something like Godzilla minus one with something like this, because it showed the potential to give you all of the things that we love about these, which is the monster action, but also have human action that does not rot your brain actively while you're watching it.
Yeah.
And so that definitely made it a little bit more of a difficult watch.
When
Like,
you
I'm
say
not
follow, like you just mean yourself in your
Yes.
viewing order.
Yes,
okay. Because
exactly.
like
Like,
they are
going-
completely separate.
Yes. I know that these are like, there's like 3 Godzilla timelines and then the show and all that. But like in terms of the way that I consumed it, it made it, I now have different expectations for one of these movies. So that was hard. And I don't want to be a hater. I like watching Monster Smash shit. I'm not like soulless and dead inside. The problem is,
No, we
is
never
that this
said that.
movie, well, maybe that's me reflecting on myself. But all right, Eric, save it for the after show. But like this movie tries to have its cake and eat it too. Like it does not want, it wants us to believe that these characters are heroes while watching like a grand scale human tragedy unfold, while people at Monarch are just like, "Aw, shucks." And it's kind of undercuts the joy of it for me. If you're going to do that, you have to say that they are villains. You cannot act like they are saving humanity while kicking their way through bridges loaded with people after watching
There's absolutely not a single moment that ever nods to the human destruction in this film, which is so wild. Again, after seeing -1, where the entire film is about that, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it just that was not great for me. And then the Iwi stuff is not just bad, it's like deeply problematic and kind of racist.
it's a little like magical native. Like, I mean,
you
not
think?
little. It's entirely, yeah.
You think? I mean, like it hits like you go down the list of what like is, you know, the magical native trope. It hits every single
Yeah.
one of them and adds a new layer in that it also robs them of their voice. They don't even, every single bit of exposition, every bit of information we learn about this culture and their storied heroic history is through the lens of Rebecca Hall's character. They literally do not have a voice. So it's cool that they hired like a deaf actor to play this character, but the like sort of the outcome of this is like it's infuriating to watch. And then when we learn about them, all of the characters are like listening to Rebecca Hall describe their culture while like, you know, Italian Spider-Man and like, oh, it's so wild and weird.
But hold on, I don't think they can talk. Like you're
Right.
I am not,
They cannot talk. That is
am
correct.
Not, I am not challenging the point you are making, which I 100% co-sign and agree with. I'm just saying in the diegesis of the film, they literally
Stop using
can't
words I
talk.
don't know, John.
So like, I don't know. Well, like I mean, you'd have
But
to
you know,
write a
a
different
writer
movie.
made that choice.
well,
a
that's-
writer
that's-
decided that
Yes.
this is, I can only critique what the writers created.
fair.
John, can you tell me what diegesis means now, so I can
It's like
understand what you just
in
said?
the like reality, obviously the actors can probably speak, but like in the reality of the film,
This is
they
like, what's
the
that
UA
word?
people communicate through telepathy.
What's that word Rachel taught me last week? Verisimilitude.
I mean, there's
Feeling
a
pretty
version
smart?
of this
It's low in this movie.
where they are unable to speak, but we understand that they are psychic and telekinetic. So we could potentially, I don't know, hear this woman speaking into their minds and
It's
voice
just facial
over
expressions.
something.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just like, yes, white savior, come tell the people of
Yeah.
my people.
Yeah, instead, all we see is the leader of the Iwi staring at the little girl, and then the little girl reacting like, "Oh shit, she said it."
John,
Yeah.
what'd you think?
Man,
Go
I
ahead,
would
compliment
say-
it after that. Go ahead.
no, I would say I am like perfectly in between the Rachel camp and what I will call the Eric and Casey camp. Although Eric, you know, I won't speak for you. As I mentioned, I saw this with
I
my
think that's fair.
10-year-old. Okay, the way I would describe this movie is it's fucking goofy. Like it is goofy. And it starts with the like opening of Kong ripping the whatever Hollow Earth dog in half and just letting the like green innards of this dog like wash over him in this like extended shot.
I don't remember the other ones being that gooey, but I could just be
No,
forgetting.
so this one basically, I didn't. My son watched Godzilla versus Kong like 6 hours after he saw the movie. So because he literally walked down and was like, "Oh, I got to see some of these other movies now." He I think the last one was like at an 8, and this one goes to an 11. Basically, is the way I would describe it. There's definitely some slapsticky stuff, but what's interesting to me, and like the thing I will rant the most about, and you guys probably don't want to hear it, and maybe the listeners don't want to hear it either. So Warner Brothers and Toho have created this like new timeline that starts with the, it's the Cranston Godzilla through. The Cranston Godzilla is like pretty straight up. Like
Are we
it is-
aware though of how much Toho is actually involved, or do they just license this out?
I mean, they are in the title credits. Like whether or
but-
not they are giving creative feedback, I have no idea.
okay.
Like I'm sure we could find that. I'm sure it's been talked about, but they're not involved. Like I'm sure they get creative sign off. Like they wouldn't let Warner Brothers do something crazy with Godzilla that just like, made it whatever toxic. Like I don't know, maybe there is like racism apparently in this movie that maybe it is getting toxic. Toho should have stepped in, but all right. In any event, you have Godzilla, the Godzilla movie. Then you have King of the Monsters. Again, pretty
King of the
straight.
Monsters is awesome,
Well, but again, like there's no
but dumb
joking
human
around.
stuff, even in that one.
Yeah, there's dumb. All of this human stuff is really dumb, and like it gets like the more sci-fi it gets, the more like fantasy sci-fi it becomes.
The first Godzilla movie too, kind of a mess. Like, remember, like Bryan Cranston's in it for like 20 minutes. Like, it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
not great.
and it's what's his name? It's a coach from Friday Night Lights. What the hell's his name?
Oh,
Ron
that's
Livingston.
right.
Isn't he in
No.
the most
No,
recent
not
one?
Ron Livingston.
Yeah.
It was new James Bond, right? It was like Bryan Cranston's son, the new James Bond guy.
Oh
I
no, that
guess.
was Aaron Taylor Jones
Yeah,
or whatever his name is.
right.
I
They
know
were in
John's
the
talking about
first
somebody
one.
else.
John's-
I'm talking about a
John's talking
different
about the
actor.
dad from
Friday
Night
Night Lights.
But he's in the
Kyle-
recent one?
No.
sounds
He's
like
in
his name.
King of the Monsters for sure. I thought he was in the
mhm,
first
mhm.
Godzilla.
You're
Anyway,
right.
My point
He
just
looks
being-
like Ron.
my point just being that they're like more straight up Godzilla kaiju type movies. Then you get Skull Island. That's where they bring in Kong. That one's pretty goofy. It's like, John Goodman, and like there's like lots of comedic stuff happening, although like a lot of action as well. You get Adam Wingard come in with the last one, and then this one it's ridiculous. Like we talked about it on the last episode. The whole Hollow Earth concept is so idiotic and absurd.
How does
You-
photosynthesis work?
You can,
don't
exactly, like you
understand.
can't even process it. Like there's now. Here's the other rant. And I'll stop. I watched the whole Monarch show, the Apple show.
Oh, I
So
can't wait for this.
okay, so the show is also not that funny. Like there's some humor in it, but it's pretty straight. It is meant to be canon with these
Mhm.
movies.
Mm-hmm.
They have a completely separate explanation for Hollow Earth and how it works than exists in these movies. The most important piece of which,
That's
somewhat of a
really-
spoiler alert, just
That's
quickly.
really wild to me that there wouldn't be some kind of synergy there.
Hold on. The most important thing in the Monarch show is that when you are in Hollow Earth, time moves like, 10 times slower. So like,
Yeah.
like so there is a whole plot line. It's not even 10 times. It's like a year for a day, because there's this whole plot line about how this one character's mom in the 1960s goes into Hollow Earth and disappears, and they just like assume she's dead. But then she like is resurrected in 2015 or whenever the movie's happening, and she's 50 days older. She thinks 50 days has passed and it's been 50 years. In these movies, Hollow Earth is just like they have a fucking base down there and they're like communicating with it over radio. Like it just to me it was like absurd that this show that was like a huge investment in like building out this universe doesn't interact with these movies in any way, shape, or form. The show, by the way, also has Skull Island on it. Like it's not like it doesn't imagine the Kong stuff. Like it is meant to fold all that together. There's no way they can close this loop around Hollow
It's
Earth.
very
though.
weird to me.
I kept
So-
hoping Kurt Russell would show up in it.
Well, that was what was funny. When I was watching the like prep video, they were
Mhm.
like they were like, oh, and then maybe a character from Monarch who's, trapped in Hollow Earth will like appear in this movie. Oh, it couldn't have happened. Like it would, it's like not
Yeah.
possible.
John, I still don't know what you thought of this movie.
It's whatever. I had like a fun time with my son and we like enjoyed watching it. It is idiotic. Like it is really, really dumb.
That's a
The
good word for it, honestly.
I mean, Rachel mentioned the baby hitting. Like the baby is the most absurd character. Casey sent the meme of the baby looking like Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle. It's the only thing I can think of now. There's another moment in that fight scene that's actually pretty great when the other like Scar bad ape like is running away and King Kong just like picks up a rock and like throws the rock at him from like
Yeah.
super far away and hits him and he falls down and then he just gets up and walks away. It's like what?
That was funny. But like that was a moment though, again, like when he picks the baby ape up and hits the other one with it, I'm like, I see you, movie. All right. I get you.
I want that movie. Give me
Yeah,
2
like,
hours of that movie.
the
There's a lot
slapstick
of
stuff-
goofy stuff in
The
this. Stuff.
slapstick
Like,
stuff are
really.
definitely the moments where it shines. Like, listen, if you saw the first Godzilla versus Kong, you could not know more exactly what this movie is. Like when I tell you it's the same tone, it's the same trash writing for the human characters, and the same fun monster fighting. Like it just is what it is. It's fun. It's 2 hours. Didn't make me sit around for 3, which I appreciate.
It felt faster than that to me. Like
Oh.
It
there's
moves.
so much
It
plot in
never
this
stops.
movie. There's so much plot.
Yeah, there's so much plot. It really is worth witnessing just to hear Rebecca Hall say some of the dumbass things they make her character say. And every time you think you got all the plot, it just keeps going deeper. And you're like, you don't need this much. You're like trying
Hollow
way
Earth
too hard here.
itself.
It really
There
is.
is a Hollow Earth below Hollow Earth. Like that's all you need to know.
You know what? And you know what? That's almost from the Meg 2. Remember the whole thing with the Meg 2 is that there's like a hole in the
trench?
ocean floor that, yeah. So I don't know, but I would say honestly, this is like to steal a Rachelism. This is a really good sit. I would say a really good sit. Like
That's
it is
strong.
goofy. It's entertaining. This podcaster dude, even though I barely remembered him and couldn't like, I had no idea what he's doing here. He's pretty funny. Like
Yeah,
he's got
he's
some
good.
decent lines, good delivery. I like that guy. The monster fighting is just pretty good. Like
He gets to do the part of emoting for like 7 different Eway people.
you know,
who
if
aren't
I have a
ones-
beef
Yeah.
again, it's like I actually don't even. I at some point was just enjoying the absurdity of the story stuff. My beef is more that I just find King Kong kind of boring, and like you're just waiting for Godzilla the whole time. You're like, "Where's fucking Godzilla?" I did like. I love when they're just. I love the way that they have randomly pulled. They just sort of randomly pull from the Godzilla canon to just pick other random things to throw in, like. And then, because then I'm literally sitting in the theater, like Googling, like, oh, is this guy? Like, he goes and he fights this thing in the North Pole. And then there's like Ice Godzilla that the monkey ape
I
king
forgot about
rides
Ice
basically and like
Godzilla.
controls. That was a character from like the original film somewhere. So I like that they're sort of surfacing that stuff. And I mean, it's what made King of the Monsters so great is just him traveling from place to place and fighting a different monster. It was like watching Street Fighter or something. That's kind of what I'm waiting for in these movies. You get some of it, but all the ape shit, like the way they're trying to humanize King Kong, like I don't care.
I
And
think
we gotta-
he feels attacked right
We
now.
got to talk about. So at some point he gets injured, and the doctor dude. This is like 90 minutes into the movie. Is like, wait, I have just the thing. This is like the biggest info dump out of nowhere. Like, we've been working on a robo arm for King Kong. You know what? Someone pointed out in the Slack questions. What if he had made it for the other arm?
Yeah.
I just
Like,
assumed
what
it was ambidextrous.
You think it goes both ways?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's
I mean-
reversible arm. But like, and then
one each.
the absurdity of like he just flies away, and then they cut, and he's flying back, and the arm is on, and
Well,
you're like,
there was another one of those lifter machines down there. Like,
it's so silly.
Yeah.
So
Very
like,
convenient. Very
That-
convenient that they're like, you know where we should keep this arm? Hollow Earth.
Yeah.
well, and here's the thing: is I thought for sure this is where I was shocked to hear you say that the show they don't follow the show at all, because the way the arm subplot comes in it feels so ham-fisted, like they needed to get a plot line from the show in. And I thought, like, when they go to the base, there's characters in the base. Are those characters from the show? I mean, that's just batshit. Like, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you just put? I don't know the difference. Just
Yeah.
put those same people in the base
Truly, I think this film was developed before the show, or like with basically no overlap between
Yeah.
whatever.
Like,
the
I
team
just thought that
developing
the arm
show.
thing was so absurd. I'm like, this has to be a thing they're shoehorning in from the show. So I was shocked to hear you say that has nothing to do with it. That makes it
It's
worse,
either,
honestly.
it's either that or they tasked the writers of the show and this movie at the same time, and then they kept them separated and they just never talked.
And
Which
honestly,
is
like,
insane.
but
If
all
you're
is
trying
this,
to develop a like
Right.
cohesive universe.
all of that aside, it's pretty fun. And Mothra shows up.
Hold
Mothra's
on.
like a key player here. Which
I just love
appreciated.
when you said that the Trapper finding the arm was like the biggest info dump. Rebecca Hall literally walks into this room that is covered with hieroglyphics, proceeds to read the I can't even say it. She proceeds to read the walls out loud for like, this is not an exaggeration. It's 5 minutes of the film.
Oh yeah.
No, the worst part, though,
It's
right in that
intercut
same
with stuff,
scene,
but
when the water starts flowing in the temple, the guy goes, the podcaster guy, who by the way is not a scientist, goes, "Oh, this is blah 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 technology. It is doing this and this and this." And you're like,
He-
"Sir, how would you know
Yeah.
that?"
but Eric, he thinks outside the box, which is why you
That's
needed
right,
to bring
yeah.
him
I
to Hollow
mean,
Earth.
he's like deep, like he's basically, if you are a nerd and into all of the conspiracy stuff, he's just like name checking everything on Ancient Aliens.
Totally.
Essentially.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's like the Lemurians and rah, 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 rah.
Yeah. It-
You
I
were
mean-
you were clicking them off as he was going.
A little bit.
Yeah.
You know what? They should have actually had the Ancient Aliens guy in this. That would be like replace. Like that would actually be amazing.
yeah.
If he just showed up with the hair,
Yes, yes.
I like it. But yeah, I don't know. It's dumb. It's fun and dumb, and it's dumb fun.
Well, even the stuff that they're like the story they're trying to do with King Kong and these prisoner apes and whatnot. Like Schnars called him Scar earlier.
They're not
That
really
it is
prisoner
it is
apes.
Lion King.
Well,
Like
They're not
very
really
creative name.
prisoners so much as like cult members, sort of. Like, it's
no,
just
but
like
they
it's
got
like an
trapped down
alpha.
there.
Yeah.
No, I
But
know,
it
but they're
was-
following him because he's like the alpha of their
Yeah,
pack or whatever.
Well, he has the magical crystal that
Yeah.
controls the other
Ice
Ice
Godzilla.
Godzilla. Yeah.
The
I
snow bunny.
also don't appreciate
Snowzilla.
the anti-ginger propaganda in this film. That was very upsetting to me.
Oh yeah.
All the evil
'cause
apes had red hair.
They did. That's true. We didn't necessarily hit on it, but the trailer for this movie, I think, shows every single plot point in the entire film.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Which is
it's-
funny when all you need to sell the movie is like punching.
Well, that's where, you were saying like, oh, I thought they were trying to connect the hand to the whatever, the Monarch show. They were just like sitting around there like, it would be cool if you had a fucking metal hand. And then the writers had to go like figure out some
Yeah.
way to
Yeah.
get that in there.
But that's
Where
the
is it
problem with-
developed? I don't know. Where is where is Kong? He's in Hollow Earth. Oh yeah, that's where they figured it out.
That's why the robot hand in the movie disappointed me even more, though, because after they said, it'd be cool, give King Kong a metal hand, and the marketing people were like, "Oh yeah, giant metal hand," and that's all they put in the trailer. So it was like a huge focus of the trailer,
Yeah.
and it's something they explain away in 30-second plot dump.
Well,
is
it's
really-
also it like is maybe doing superpower stuff, but they don't tell you what the hand does. It like can shoot sparks and things and like punch
It's a
through
metal
stuff.
hand, John. I don't know.
I don't know.
You needed more.
Okay. Yeah. I
It is really funny. Like, we watched -1 made by Toho, and it's like Godzilla's this like frightening, stoic thunder god, and he's like this. It's a metaphor for like the trauma of war. Godzilla in these movies is literally like a hungover teenager. Like, he just wakes up and he's pissed and he doesn't know why, and he starts fucking shit up. Like, that's. But I kind of enjoy that too.
kills hundreds of thousands of people. Like
Kills
But
Yeah.
he's a
People.
hero and a protector.
But he's also like kind of a good guy. But it's like you have to again. It's like I kind of like he's petulant and he will do good. Like at the end, he's full on like we're watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers at the end of this.
that
movie.
is
like that's basically what's happening.
100% the last.
Like you're waiting for
15
this
minutes.
music to kick in and just be like, go Power
Yeah.
Rangers.
So the thing that I was confused about, and this is like definitely on the negative side for me, like so Godzilla goes and kills this other whatever kaiju Mutos thing that's just like peacefully sleeping in the Arctic, like
just
doing
fucks it
nothing.
up.
He
Fills a
literally like
tank.
goes there. Yeah. Well, and they're like, oh, well, Godzilla's got to like power up for the big battle. And it's like, okay. But then he doesn't, he's just exactly the
But
same as he was
John,
before, but he has
Yeah.
red now. He's like a
John,
red
an
tail.
electric eel monster in the Arctic is not up to any good. Like, I think it's probably
I mean,
okay. that Godzilla
probably
killed it.
not, but it wasn't doing anything wrong at the time.
That's a slippery
Don't be such a
slope, John.
Godzilla apologist.
Yeah, really.
He can murder anyone he wants, John.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. But
mean,
but
if
then
it
also,
means-
like,
if it
what
means
was the
that he
point of
can-
the powering up? He
If it
didn't
means
do
that he can
anything.
Hulk up, and
I
have
mean,
his
maybe
little back
Godzilla
things
just
shoot
needed
out.
a nap and an ice bath. Kind of, recover those muscles.
Listen, we're
That's
dancing
true.
around the real topic here, which is, can we talk about the like caked up situation of the like? Can we talk about Godzilla butts?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
this Godzilla, it's crazy how long his legs are.
Well,
Like,
they
he's got
make him
frog legs basically.
way more anthropomorphic. Like he's way more humanoid. Like his arms are longer
Longer
too.
arms, like frog legs, and he's
Yep.
got like again like more of a neck, like or more of like a bodybuilder neck sort of. Whereas
Yeah.
like the Japanese one, it's okay. This is what it reminds me of. Do you remember
He's
John?
bottom heavy, bro. He's thick.
Do you remember John?
I do
When
probably.
when Phantom of the Menace came out, everybody was complaining about Yoda, CGI Yoda, right?
Mhm,
And so what they did for the two sequels was they realized that part of what brought like Yoda's personality was Frank Oz's hand, literally like the hand motions.
mhm.
So they actually, the animators in the two sequels built, they like split the difference between fully smooth CGI Yoda and like Yoda puppet with a hand in
okay.
its mouth or whatever. What Toho is doing with their like -1 Godzilla is essentially being like very, they're really honoring dude in a suit.
Yeah.
But they're just making it modern looking, which is strange and fascinating. Whereas like the animators here, like they really were trying to think of a more like practical Godzilla body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do miss the junk in the trunk, if I'm being
Well,
honest.
hold on. We
This
should
one
just
has no
mention
pecs either, which the
I
other
also
one
miss
had
the
these, like,
weird puppy eyes. Yeah.
I do
God-
like
yeah.
the puppy eyes,
Godzilla
yeah.
-1 Oscar winner for
true.
special effects
Like,
on
do
a
you think-
$25
do you-
million budget.
Do you think the crew was like working to finish up this movie and then went out to see -1 and just all looked at each other like, what are we doing with our lives?
I think they were probably fine.
And then it
Again,
won-
they were
and
probably
then it
like,
won
man,
an
I'm glad that
Oscar."
strike was over. You know,
Yeah.
like,
We got paid.
man, I hope OpenAI doesn't invent a Godzilla machine pretty soon.
Levi says, this is what I'm here for.
Godzilla cake hour.
Yeah.
I mean, same.
It's just interesting, the different like design philosophies.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I think so. One of them is more traditional. One of them is more America.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, even
and I
King
think-
Kong is like, King Kong just looks like any roided up dude you'll go see at like Gold's Gym. Like, he doesn't look
Yeah.
like a monkey. He just looks
But
like
he's
a roided up dude.
graying. He's like
He is old.
you
Yeah,
know.
he's old and grumpy.
He's in his
which I
daddy era,
appreciated.
for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, like, think back.
You know,
to- 'cause
Rachel,
I've-
weren't you on a show about daddies?
I know all about himbos and daddies.
Casey, go.
I was gonna say though, like if you look at the American Godzilla in this compared to the Toho one, and think back to what was it, '99, with the Ferris Bueller Godzilla, that one's not that far off from the Godzilla we have
Yeah.
in these movies.
Wait,
It's
you're
more of a-
saying you're saying that one is the model for the American one now?
I'm just thinking. I don't think it is exact or anything like that, but I think it feels like that they're similar in style,
Mm,
which it may be the American is part of it because they're both American movies.
yeah. Was that 99? I thought it was
I think
earlier
so.
than that. Yeah, no, you could be right.
It might have been. It might have been '97.
What's that? The
Oh boy.
the
No, it was
Matthew
Godzilla
Broderick
99,
one?
wasn't
It was
it?
98.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was pre 2000.
It was
Yeah.
98.
He's like the modern Godzilla crossed with the dad from that dinosaur show.
Earl? You mean Earl?
Yeah, like
Dinosaur?
You know, that jaw is thick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Show was amazing.
Now
So, yeah.
watching Earl fight off other monkeys with what was the middle son's name on dinosaurs, or even with the baby? I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Can I get some accuracy here on Mothra shooting Spider-Man webs? I wasn't sure if I remembered that from the last movie.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
That's
Was
the thing.
Mothra in? She was. I don't think was she in previous.
She
movies?
shows no in King
She
of the
was in
Monsters.
King of the Monsters. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
did
she was
show-
all about healing Godzilla in that one. I don't remember
Yeah.
the silly string.
Poor
Yeah,
Mothra.
yeah.
Always getting called in
So
to do the heavy
bizarre.
labor.
Ain't that the truth, Rachel?
Bail 'em out.
Anything else about Godzilla?
That's enough.
Okay. Oh no. My question. This was from the very beginning. What is the new empire? You all were like, oh, obviously you don't know what the
Kong.
new empire is.
Kong's.
It's
new
got to be
empire.
the apes.
Because
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
like the king of the apes now.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
his new
He's got the
now
magic
taking over
hammer.
the
That's what the
empire.
magic hammer is.
Although to be fair, they don't really show that he's like the king now, right? It's not even. It's like an afterthought after.
No, but there's heavy influence for us to think that his magic monkey axe is Excalibur.
Do you?
Would you be surprised to know, John, that I am not the first person to ever Google "Does Mothra shoot webs"?
No, that doesn't shock me.
The
The
answer's
wait.
yes,
So
by the way.
do we think that the new empire team, the new Kong family, continues to live in the subterranean, which is what we call the
No.
place under the Hollow Earth, or do they just sort of like move themselves all up to the regular
No,
Hollow
'cause
Earth,
regular
which
Hollow
I
Earth seems
presume to be
much-
better?
like a much better
Yeah.
place.
Yeah,
for
because
them.
that was their
Yeah.
prison, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
but
I
it
think
also
so.
had its own like plants and shit,
Yeah.
photosynthesis and all.
The sun thing really bothers me. Like, where's the light coming from? It really
Where's
drove
the
me
light
insane.
Yeah.
coming from?
But
I
so-
didn't
okay,
want to
so-
harp on it again, but it really.
I feel like they
bothered
touched on
me.
it in the last one, but it was not enough. You needed to do it again.
This is the other thing from the show versus these films. It's never called Hollow Earth, first and foremost, in the Monarch show. I can't remember what they call it, but I don't think they ever even use the term Hollow Earth. I also don't think it's meant to be under the earth, even though they are
Yeah.
falling into a hole. It's like a portal that is like connecting the earth to like another universe. And
Like a
that's
pocket
where-
universe or a pocket dimension or something.
Yes.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they mentioned like specifically early on in this movie in one of the info dumps that it's like under the earth.
No.
But they
in
did
the
in the-
movies for sure.
yeah.
I'm talking about in the show.
Yeah,
I
in the
gotcha.
show, there's like a whole thing about the ant crawling through the paper thing where he has.
I
the big-
remember Schnars talking about
revelation.
this around the
Yeah.
time that we did -1 when he was talking about watching Monarch.
I guess I don't need to watch that show then, John.
No,
I can only
that-
hold one of these timelines.
it
The only
can't
connective
live.
tissue is John Goodman. Like that's
And
the
Monarch.
only-
yeah, and
Yeah.
Monarch.
Is
Yeah.
John Goodman in Monarch?
Yeah. Oh no,
Well,
he's
in
in
Skull
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 Island.
Island. Yeah.
and he's in
Yeah.
one scene in
Wow, I
Monarch.
completely
They
forgot
reference
that.
his character.
Yeah,
Wow.
No, he's in the
Alright.
video. He's in the very first scene of the show.
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you recommend this movie whose name I forgot? Godzilla, Kong.
X Kong
Would you recommend it?
colon
Casey?
New Empire.
I think I'd say yes when it hits cable or video.
Rachel?
I think if you like these movies, you're gonna get more of that. But if someone were just asking me, should I watch this movie? No, man. No. Go watch Godzilla minus one.
John?
If you're with a 10-year-old, you should watch it. Or like,
There you
if you, as I've said in the past, if you're very inebriated, it's also
Yeah,
appropriate.
I would
in
say
my
if
book.
you know what you're getting, it's that. There you go.
Yeah,
All right.
that's fair.
Let's take a quick break and do some fan mail. Guys, I'm gonna step
Pains
away
me
for
to
a
give a
sec.
Rebecca Hall movie a bad review. because-
I'm gonna step away for a
Send
second.
feedback
If the
to
music
info
ends,
at
just hang tight for a
bloodygoodhorror.com
second. I'll be right back.
Or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH.
We
Join
shouldn't
Patreon to
talk,
get
or-
back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygooDhorror.
I was serious. I want Rebecca Hall to play Carol Burnett in a biopic. I think she looked dead
He
like
does
her.
look like her. It's true.
So
Does he not want us to do the show anymore?
I
Like, what?
don't know.
I wasn't clear on what the directions were.
Me neither.
He
He's
said
gonna
to just
edit
hang
this.
out.
Okay.
I hope it's just a pee.
And we're back. Info@bloodygoodhorror.com is the email address.
Eric, we didn't
oh,
even
man.
discuss up front the fact that people might have just heard an ad in the show. Is that, did we just?
We were going to discuss it on the show first, I thought, before we put the ads in.
Oh, all right.
So
So
people
next
have a
week,
warning.
look
Yeah.
forward to there being an ad at this point in the show.
We're going to turn ads on, just a mid-roll, probably a pre-roll and a mid-roll, but it'll be, you'll continue to get the show ad-free on Patreon at any level. And if you need help getting that Patreon feed, just hit us up. It basically, within your Patreon app, will give you an RSS feed. You can plug that into any reader that you like. Podcast situation.
It's a test. Call it a test.
John, you missed a banger day on Slack today.
Oh boy. People running wild.
Alyssa came in and said that someone came into her library and asked her one of the most specific questions I've ever heard in my life, which is...
It was about Mothra shooting
No.
webs.
It was about Friday the 13th, Part 7, John, which you may be aware is a subject I'm fairly
Yeah.
qualified
Right.
to talk
she
about.
was like-
training for this moment.
Yeah,
Did you hear the like opening Rocky theme?
yeah.
Literally, let's see. She says, I just got to find this because it was really funny. Paging Eric or Jody or anyone else. My friend is a librarian and a patron is asking what specific machine Dr. Cruz inserts a tape into during Friday the 13th, Part 7. My friend thinks, based off the description from the patron, it's a VCR combo machine, but the patron says it is not. Does anyone know? Would it surprise you, John, find out that I went to Amazon because I own this movie on Prime and I took screenshots.
It wouldn't surprise me actually. But what was the machine? Is it like a
It's
Betamax or
like,
something?
No, it's a VCR, but it's very sleek. Like it's no wider than the tape, and it's silver, and it's like a little almost like this movie was made in 1987. It looks almost like a little professional kind of deck. And it's a top loader, so it goes pops up on the top. It's
Are
really
you
fast.
sure
Sounds
that's
like
not
a
a
tape rewinder.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, are you sure it's not a rewinder that they just
No,
shove
We
it
said
as a
that about
player?
Jason, that he
No, and
is
I'll tell
a
you
be
why.
kind, rewind kind of guy.
I'll tell you why, because Tommy found what looks like basically the same thing on eBay. I did not buy it, but I did think about it. So, and then we just continued analyzing other pieces of equipment in his office. That's what you could be doing, John,
Perfect.
on Slack.
Yeah. Here I was trying to work like a sucker.
Pretty much. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror. We all got to hang out a couple weeks ago in
Yeah, we
Cincinnati.
did.
Boy, howdy. I am mostly recovered, I would say. So
Yeah, I've only been home a couple days because I traveled after
Oh,
that. But
buddy.
yeah, not so much recovered. But
you seem to do well, though. I feel like you were doing okay in Cali.
I did okay. I did as to be expected. I think I had a few sits just to get it together, but I'm sorry. I disappeared a couple times.
What was everyone's biggest takeaway from HHW Cincy?
First of all, that your listeners are like the nicest people.
Mm.
To a
Wow.
person, they were a goddamn delight to hang out with.
They are.
I
we
knew that
should-
already.
We
so-
should shout everybody out that came out. So I have the picture here quick.
If you can do
Alright.
everyone's name from that picture, I'm gonna be kind of impressed.
So we had Ryan, Skylar, Lara, Rachel, Zach, and also multiple significant others. You cannot expect me to know their names, but everyone was a delight.
And God bless them, because they probably didn't know what they were getting into, but
I was gonna
And
say
they clearly
everybody's
loved their.
everybody's significant others were not scared away by us, and they blended in quite well.
Exactly.
But like, what was really cool is we did a couple of these meetups pre-pandemic, and all of these were new people that
Mhm.
Yeah.
had never been to those. So it's I thought it was really cool after 17 years to still be meeting new people. Zach was talking about he's been listening to us since he was 17.
Oh,
And he's
wow.
30 now, John.
Roll
And a
shit.
teacher.
Yeah. His
Oh,
brain
the
is only
wages of
partially
time.
rotted. So
Yeah, it was really cool meeting everybody.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of great cosplayers like a real like a Too Good Art the Clown that I got a picture with that was like honestly a little unsettling.
Oh, the costumes up and down were just
Rachel
Yeah.
has this
Great.
demonic looking like smiling selfie with a John Wayne Gacy costume.
Oh God, that guy.
Correct.
That guy.
I
That
love
guy
the
was
photo where
born to
there's
do
like
that.
the predator like sneaking up on you. In that one photo is
Yeah, I didn't like that.
amazing.
I was
Yeah.
not a fan of the predator sneaking up on me.
My favorite
Don't
was
sidle up to me.
the Shining daughters. I forget the now I'm gonna forget the name of the guy, but
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, the couple.
Drunk John made an appearance. That was pretty fun. I'm just remembering this now.
I was like
Jo-
buzzed most of the weekend. I was-
Friday night, John
Yeah.
legitimately was like stumbling around the hotel room, and I had to sort of like herd him to the bathroom so that he could
Wow.
like, get his shit.
Well, that's
done and
okay.
go back.
After you Irish goodbye, Schnars turned to Rachel and Colleen and I at the bar and said, "I think I can go back."
Yeah, I had one more at the bar, and it was just
Yeah.
one too many. It pushed me right over the edge.
Mhm.
So.
To Schnars' credit,
amazing.
he did turn to me and say, "I shouldn't have had that one."
We learned
I'm
a lot
just
about.
impressed that you like can rally so much the next day. Like I drank
He got
half
up-
of what you drank, and I
John got up and went
struggled to
running
make
on
it to Bob
Saturday morning
Evans.
like a complete psycho.
I did run. That was
Oh,
that was
Bob
ill-advised, so.
Evans! Jesus Christ, what is
That was
going on in
after he walked to
Midwest?
Starbucks.
How
Bob
dare you
Evans
with
is-
their delicious fruit plate?
Bob Evans is a travesty.
Whoa, whoa!
No.
Hold on.
No, I don't know. I'm not taking any further questions.
I still maintain that they treated you very respectfully
I ordered a
for
okay.
someone who
It's not
asked for
crazy,
something insane.
John, it
and,
is not crazy to order a fruit plate at breakfast, which you might argue is like the meal when the most fruit
It
is
is a
eaten.
Bob Evans. They're no more
Okay.
sausage and potatoes.
They brought me first of all, what the hell melon was that, Rachel? What kind of bullshit
That's
was
a
that? It was like
cantaloupe.
honeydew.
It
or
was
something.
Cantaloupe.
It was a cantaloupe, but it
Cantaloupe.
was the
It was sad. It was
saddest
sad.
like whisper of a slice
Do you
of
know?
cantaloupe.
Okay. Do you know in Goodfellas when he's showing how you make the sauce and he's literally slicing the garlic with a razor blade? That was how they cut this cantaloupe. Like it was like a piece of paper thickness, and then there was like 5 grapes on the plate, and that was the whole thing.
Midwest secret here, Eric. You went to Bob Evans, which is known for like the heavy duty, like Cracker Barrel type breakfast food,
That's
and you
fine.
basically got a plate full of garnish.
It's not my fault you guys don't get enough fiber in the Midwest, okay? So don't come at me. Second of all, I wanted to eat at a hotel where breakfast was like $100 and finally just acquiesced to Bob Evans. It wasn't like I went there expecting a great meal.
Dude, it was $20 for 2 eggs, and we know how many eggs you like. We were fighting for you.
Dude, eating
True.
food in the Midwest is a travesty. And then I flew to California after that because for like work stuff, and literally the first meal I had was like the best thing I've ever eaten in my life. I was like-
Yeah. I know we let you down on the sushi, but I'm glad at least the Persian
was-
food was good.
yeah, it was fine. We did learn a lot about Rachel when she lost her phone.
Yeah.
What? I don't know what you're talking.
Rachel
I
lost her
feel
phone
like
and then
I handled that very gracefully.
and then refused to allow anyone to help her. We had to force her to let us help her.
Yeah.
She was like,
I
"No,
was
you're
getting
worst.
very
I deserve
anxious.
this."
I mean, I knew that it was my fault. I'm the one that like lost the phone, and I didn't want to ruin anybody else's vacation. So I was like trying to be like, it's fine, and like under the water, like fuck. How am I getting back on a plane? Fuck.
I know she's like, I don't want to ruin anyone's night. I'm like, Rachel, I assure you, if I lost my phone, I would ruin everyone's night without
But we
hesitation.
found it. It all had a happy ending.
Honestly,
It
that
all
was
worked
probably
out.
the biggest triumph of the weekend was finding your phone somehow in that throng of people.
Yeah.
I mean, we met the hero of the convention, that dude who sat at the information
had
sat at the
just started his
information
job.
desk and like
Bless his heart.
literally might
John
never
was
be
like-
the same.
I think it was John was like, "Is this the weirdest thing you've ever seen at this job?" Because he just sits at the desk in the convention center, and he's like, "Oh, not really." And then John's like, "How long you been working here?" He's like, "Well, I just started." And then, so it is the weirdest thing.
Yeah, he was a good dude.
My favorite moment of the weekend, though,
Is it the
only four
horticulturist moment?
people witnessed, and it was incredible and made the whole weekend worth it. We were driving back to the airport on Sunday, and I don't even remember how this came up. Why were
I
we...
said the tree was pretty.
So we're driving,
Ugh.
and Rachel John is so hungover. He's just like a shell of a human. Rachel goes, "Oh, look at that! Those trees are pretty." John, more deadpan than you've ever heard him in his life, cranes his neck over and goes, "What are those, dogwood?" And I lost my mind. Like I
Yeah,
was
I
crying.
mean,
I was
did.
laughing so hard.
You were like,
It was
They were
like
all over the place, though. There
it
was
was
a lot of
it was
them.
the perfect, genuine like fog, Schnars fog moment of
Yeah.
like
Oh.
dogwood trees. Dogwood.
It's nice.
he
I
says.
mean, I maintain that it was a dogwood tree. Yeah, they were nice. It is
We
what
do
it
have
is.
them in this area.
John, damn it, botanist, Schnars.
yeah.
Just fucking hilarious. It was a good time. We can still hang, sorta.
Oh yeah, I had a great time. I would love to do it again. And the hard part with those conventions is like, there's not, if you're not based in the hotel, and we knew this going in, it's very hard when you're like there all day. There's not like really a place to just like chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
I do prefer the hotel to the convention center because in a hotel there's just many more seating options.
Yes.
well, that's what I
Seating
mean. There's like
options
no
were,
soft seating.
Seating options were a problem for me. And I've been hanging out talking to Jason, the bearded dad from Dads from the Crypt, and he's been giving me some cool ideas for stuff I need to put in my convention pack, like a foldable stool and some stuff like that.
There
That's
you
a
go.
good idea. I can
Yeah.
get into
Yeah.
that.
I
Dude,
remember
I
at
have
the
a sick
point-
camping chair that's like really tiny. It's
Yeah.
I can send that your way.
All right.
There
it
was
was
a
great
point
fun.
where we were
Hope-
like out of energy, and like you and I just looked at each other. We're like, it's 3:00. Let's go to the bar. And then we got like our second win.
No,
and it was great.
Yeah, that's all you
It was-
need.
And it ended
Eric-
at that party where we had the theater kid from like the nightmarish theater kid that would not leave us alone.
She was
they-
really feeling you. She
I don't know what, like, if you believe in the law of attraction, I don't know what that like editorializes about me, that she immediately glummed on me. And then unfortunately everybody else had collateral damage because she would not leave us alone.
yeah, she was special.
I want to give Eric credit though, where credit's due, because Eric outlasted. I was the one that pulled Eric out of the convention both nights.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey, dude, we're ready to head back," and Eric's like,
Friday
"Come on,
night,
Eric."
yes. No, Friday night definitely. I was like, but it was time. Saturday night, I was just waiting for you to be like, I'm leaving, and then I was like, yes, please
Well,
get me out of here.
That was funny too, because we're sitting at we're all sitting at the restaurant with everybody that came to join us from Slack and everything, and the night was winding up, and Schnars and Rachel started talking about they wanted to go back to the party, and Colleen could see the panic in Eric's eyes as they started talking about it. And she looked at me and she's like, "Are you ready to go?" And she said, "I'm like, yeah." She's like, "Eric, we're going back to the hotel.
I
You
was
want
like,
to
"Oh,
go?" And
thank
he's like,
God.
"Hell yes!"
Please, let's go. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really funny.
Yeah,
They were full days though. I mean, like,
Oh, yeah.
long ass days. It was good.
Yeah.
Shout out to that brew pub, whatever that was, that I ate at twice on Saturday.
Third
that
eye,
saved my
right?
life.
Third
Yeah, that
eye,
thing
I
was
had-
great.
I ate
Great
more
sour.
Cobb salads even after I went to California in the last 7 days than like ever in my life.
Yeah.
They had that Third Eye Brewing. If you're in Cincinnati, has great beer. I cannot recommend the peanut butter pale ale. That
Oh,
was a
no.
combo I couldn't get into.
I didn't think either of the
They should've
horror
learned
hound
from Joe's
brews
experience.
were. The other one was s'more. It was a s'more flavored.
Yeah, I had the s'more one. The other one was like what, brownie and vanilla.
Oh, I thought that was the peanut. There was like a peanut butter one and a s'more one or something.
No,
like
there was a third
Gross.
one. It was the peanut butter one.
Ooh.
That was the alien headhunter or something like that.
that. No, it's no good.
Get the sour. The sour was good. It wasn't
Yeah.
very sour, but it was good.
All right, it was fun. Hope maybe we'll do one next year.
Next year.
It was good times. All right, let's move on here. Check out. Oh, real quick, John. I just want. Well, actually, let me read this email. I'm not gonna do it. Christopher says, "I'll try to keep this short and succinct. Lately, I've been feeling nostalgic, so I've gone back and started listening to back episodes from when I first discovered the show around 2011. However, until now, what I didn't realize is that I've been listening to you all for over a third of my life. It is crazy to think about, but I just wanted to share how grateful I am. Over the years, you've been there for me through a lot and have helped me mature and grow as a horror fan. So thank you for consistently pushing through to make the podcast what it is. On a side note, I was sad I couldn't make it to Horror Hound, but it looks like everyone had an amazing time. Hopefully the next meetup will come sooner than later and also maybe be in New York City." That's where John is. With that, I want to end it by saying congrats to Eric on the new EP. It is the best one yet and the perfect soundtrack to lift to.
He knows exactly how to get on the
Really
old
don't- I'm helping-
podcast.
I'm helping you get swole over here, John. Doing my
Yeah.
part.
But appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great email. Thank you. Casey, what do we got on threads?
We got a couple threads out there. First up, we have Blob Nelson. What's a demonstrably terrible movie that you love unironically? For me, it's The Visitor.
Maximum Overdrive. That movie's
Ah,
fucking
that's fair.
terrible, and I love it.
And I love it.
I
and that's a good.
love it.
That's a good pull.
That is a good one, actually. I wouldn't have come up with that myself.
I love
No.
Sleepaway Camp 2 in a very genuine, deep way, and that's a pretty bad movie. It's very campy though, in a fun way.
Yeah, I would go back to like the 80s. There's one from the 80s that's super cheesy called The Majorettes. That's super horrible, but it makes me happy because it's so cheesy and over the top, and I love it.
Love it.
All right,
Oh.
next up.
Yeah, hit it. Sorry.
Sorry. Next up, we have Popcorn Designs. What was the weirdest thing you saw at this year's Horror Hound weekend?
Ooh.
Oh, 2 bloody good horse stickers on somebody's butt at the
Oh, wow.
I still never got a story I could understand as to how that happened.
And I still think that picture you sent has kind of made it look like Mothman because it had the 2 red eyes.
Yeah. And a very, very low butt crack. We were trying to
Yes.
figure
Yeah.
out
Very
the mechanics of where the butt crack
Yeah.
began.
Where is it?
I
I
mean,
thought
we
for
were-
sure that was something Rachel made happen, but you guys didn't seem to know.
No, that was. I mean, I don't. Unless Rachel did it while I wasn't paying attention.
I mean, like, we were giving out the stickers, and I feel like maybe some of my chaos presence might have, like,
that's fair.
you know,
Yeah,
influenced it, but
understandable.
I didn't slap him on the butt.
It's good times.
It was. I would have to say that it wasn't necessarily weird, but cosplay wise, my favorite was the gal dressed up as Captain Spaulding with that Star Spangled dress.
Oh, I
God.
did.
That
see
was amazing. And the
That
parasol.
one was blowing my mind.
Yeah.
That was some
Yeah.
good stuff. I wish I'd gotten a picture of her. All
Rachel
right.
had to explain that one to me. Just to be
Yeah.
clear, I was really lost.
I'm so confused. All right. Last up, we have Preen Feather Shift. What large animal are you most afraid of? For me, it's apes. Throw shit at someone else, why don't you?
Man, that's a good question.
Well, you know they say hippos are the most deadly.
Sharks.
Yeah.
I saw rhinos at the zoo in Tampa. Tampa has like a fairly large rhino rescue program, and like those are fucking huge.
I'm still
They
legitimately afraid
they
that,
look like tanks, but that are
Yeah.
animals.
I'm
It's
still
crazy.
legitimately afraid that there might be sharks in most large swimming pools.
Agree. Hard agree. Not I'm gonna stay off
Like
the
I'm getting
shark's
out
plate.
fast.
Yeah. I'm good on that. Like, I love elephants, but I fed one once, and there was a moment where, like, I was holding out the, like, carrots or whatever it is they gave me, and the elephant saw me and wanted something from me, and I was like, oh, you're fucking huge. Like, there
Yeah.
was a kind of like a primal thing that happened. As much as I like the elephant, that I was uncomfortable through the feeding experience.
Well, it's
because
like
it
anytime you
was-
see a video of like a bear trainer like playing with a fucking huge grizzly bear, and you're just like,
Oh,
what are we doing, bro? Just
Yeah.
what are you doing?
yeah. That's
Yeah.
how I die, though. Like, if I thought there was a chance I could get in there and, like, you know, try to work the ears a little bit, I
Yeah.
Nice. No, I get you. I hear you.
They're so cute
Yeah.
until they're not.
Yeah.
I've mentioned mine on here before, and the answer hasn't changed after all these years. Fuck ostriches.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're not very nice.
No, thank you. And they have claws or talons. And they're like as tall as I am. It's not
Yeah.
right.
I feel like if they tried to claw you, though, they might tip over. I mean, I guess they could have good balance. I don't know.
I think they attack with their feet.
What are the ones that have the like?
I've done
ridge
research.
on their head. Those cassowaries. Those are really scary.
Oh,
Yeah.
mhm. Are they that? Do they get that big? Are they like as big as like a hippo or something? Oh.
Well, I don't know if they're as big as a hippo.
All right. I
Big.
mean,
I mean, hippos are really big,
yeah, they're huge. Yeah.
but they're. I mean, I think they're the biggest bird.
What the
The
ostrich? Cassowary?
I think
You
they're
guys
the
are
biggest
listening.
bird.
Yeah. I was not okay. I was not. I was confused. I didn't realize it was a bird. There you go.
All
What
right.
else, Eric? What else we got? Or Casey? Are we done? I mean,
Well, that's it for thread. So on to
What? I
Andrew.
thought Eric
Everyone
was pulling
sending
up.
your questions for the enthusiastic response of John.
All right.
I'm like, look, we can go another 5
Deep
minutes
wrap
on
it up
animals.
energy.
Yeah.
Let's jump right in here from Michael. On my way to AMC, is God's Jesus Christ. Is Godzilla thick enough to jack it to like the guy did to Love Lies Bleeding?
Oh, Lord.
Who is this? I gotta do a follow
I think
on
the
this
answer's
person.
no, honestly, but I guess it depends on what you're into. I don't judge. When do we finally get Godzilla XXX Kong?
Oh no. Come on. That's had to
This
have
is the
been done,
these
no?
are the questions tonight, John. Just
I don't
do it.
know. I mean, Kong. I think Kong is serving zaddy energy. So I just learned that
The
term
pages
last
of
week.
my erotic dream diary.
Paulie says, "How do you feel about this series essentially becoming the plot from the old Rampage video game?"
They made that movie, didn't they? I didn't see it.
They did with The Rock.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't slapped The Rock into these Godzilla Kong movies yet.
That's
Who
what
would
I
win?
mean. What
They
is
don't wanna
Rebecca
pay
Hall
for The
doing this?
Rock.
The Rock belongs in these movies.
Right.
He's too expensive. Rebecca Hall comes.
Who would win in a fight,
Remote
Kong
cheaper.
Godzilla or the mother from Barbarian?
Oof.
It's always Godzilla.
Yeah.
Adam, how did Godzilla get top billing in this Kong movie? Because he's better and they need to sell the movie. That's all. You know what really occurred to me watching this? So I guess like I hadn't really, this is dumb, but I hadn't really put together that like King Kong was an American property, right?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
It's like
until this series,
universal.
they were never in the same movie before, right?
I think
Like
there
this was
was
kind of
that
a
one in-
new.
I think there may have been one in like the 60s or something, but I'm not 100%.
I don't know. Like when? How would that have happened before? I guess now I'm
Well,
curious.
Kong was like a gettable character probably back then. You know, it wasn't like.
Like it feels to me like they made this deal and then they're like, what do we have that we could like expand this universe? You know, it's all the universe now, John.
It is.
This is from Grim? I don't know how to say the rest of that name. Is Baby Kong this movie's version of Godzuki? That of course is
Is that Son of Godzilla?
Son of Godzilla from I think that was a 70s one.
Could be.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks
I
just
enjoyed.
goofy.
I enjoyed the kid.
Hey, Eric, quick
Dewey.
update. There was a Godzilla versus Kong in 1963 from Universal.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, an American movie though.
Yeah, it was Universal.
Interesting. Okay. Next up, lucky they had a right-handed robo glove. What would have happened if Kong hurt his left hand?
I know.
Mentioned that earlier. That's a good point. Who would win in a fight, Lemmy or Godzilla? It's hard to kill Lemmy.
I mean, does Lemmy get his base or not? Or at least
Sure.
a bottle of Jack.
Yeah. Like,
next
what time
up-
of night is it? Because the barstool probably was beating him at the end of the night. What?
So
What?
grim. Yeah. No, it's accurate.
I always, whenever I hear about Remy, I always think about there used to be like this, I don't know, like a forum for groupies where they would talk about, you know, their experiences with rock stars, and they were always like, "Don't go home with Lemmy. He's a hoarder," and it's like a nightmare
Oh.
hoarders did.
Oh my god.
Imagine bringing someone back to that confidently. Like, yeah. Come on in.
Lemmy.
It's like I don't know.
Um,
If you want.
we already answered this one. It's from Zach. But did you find yourself missing the cakiness of -1 during this flick?
Yeah.
I do think I like that other design better.
Yeah.
Even though it's
Everything
kind of
about Remy
sillier.
is better.
All right, two more questions here. This is from Katie. How hot was Dan Stevens in this movie?
10 out of 10, as always.
I did enjoy his vibe.
Yeah.
I enjoyed his vibe here for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it was absurd when he like parkoured into King Kong's mouth, but I
But
was like,
I do have to
I
say
still
though,
wanted to take him and Rebecca Hall and smush their
smush them
faces
together.
Yeah,
But you have an
For
uphill
my
battle to climb though when
sexual
you
gratification.
you have an
be
uphill
clear.
battle to climb though when you've seen Tom Hiddleston in basically the exact same role.
Okay, wait. Counterpoint: Tom Hiddleston and Dan Stevens.
Smash their faces. Yeah,
Yes.
that makes sense. Co-sign. All right.
Dare to dream. Godzilla XX.
Oh, I will
That's gone.
tonight.
Last question of the evening: your favorite buddy movie? I have a modern answer and an old school answer. My modern answer is Super Bad, and my old school answer is Spies Like Us.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Wow, that's a deep cut.
I would say Tommy Boy, even though obviously
Tommy
you know
Boy,
they're
yes,
Yeah.
so
You know.
good.
I'm gonna
mostly not
be.
buddies.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, but I do not hate the first Grown Ups movie.
No,
It
Grown
makes
Ups is
me.
fun.
It makes me
Casey-
feel nostalgic.
Casey, this is legitimately the fourth week in a row you brought up the Grown Ups movies.
I'm trying to convert you guys. Come on.
I've seen them; they're great.
Haven't watched them yet. My loss, I guess.
No, I always feel a little bit bad when you bring up that podcast about those guys that watch Grown Ups 2 every day for a year.
Oh,
That's
oh,
bleak. That is
Grown
a
Ups. I'm
bleak
sorry, I thought
existence.
you were talking about Neighbors. My
No,
mistake.
Grown Ups.
Grown Ups has not come up the last 4 weeks. No, those movies are terrible. I cannot co-sign anything that Adam Sandler has done since like 1997.
Does like grumpy old man count as a buddy? Because they're kind
Yes,
Of,
Grumpy
okay,
Old
I'm gonna
Man.
go with that
Yeah,
one.
dude.
I'm gonna go with that one.
That is a classic too.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
We didn't discuss what we were watching next week. There's like
I know we got to figure it
18
out
options
because
right
there's
now.
stuff coming out. There's stuff we missed. Like we want to get to Immaculate. We missed Late Night with the Devil in theaters, at least me. So we're gonna get it. It's gonna be on Shudder in a couple weeks or something. So
Yeah.
we're gonna get it there.
April 19th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like 3 weeks or something. So we're gonna get that.
First Omen is coming up.
We got, you know, what we got to put on the. I put it on the list already.
Got
but
Ghostbusters.
we got to see if we can get to Exuma. Have you guys heard of this movie? It's getting. I
No.
feel like it's getting so much buzz. I'm like seeing it kind of like popping up on shit.
I
It's
have not. I really would
Korean.
like to. I'm hearing really good things about Immaculate.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I heard that
And-
like there's some great body horror in it.
Okay.
Fun,
Grr.
huh?
I mean, look, I'm down. What do you don't have to like sell me too hard
I'm
on
just
it,
looking
man.
quick to see. So on Friday, I have the First Omen. Is Monkey Man a horror movie? What the hell is that?
I would argue we should cover it, but we don't have to.
Oh, we missed Ghostbusters as well.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. I
Rachel.
don't remember there's so much shit coming out. In
I don't know. I'm so
March.
I know
cheater
we've
today.
got
I
it.
don't know
We've
what's
got a
going
pretty
on.
deep list. So
Anyway, we'll figure it out. Something in the
Yeah.
theater.
Did you guys do stop motion yet? That one's out too.
we have it on the list.
All right, well, stay tuned, and we'll let you know.
Well, we
what we're
will.
doing.
Yeah, we'll update and we can try to nail down the next couple weeks because there's a lot of stuff still coming.
All right, that's gonna do it. I hope you enjoy the show, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.